Hey guys, and welcome to this quite frankly tip about shooting tethered. When I'm on location or in the studio, I always shoot tethered. I love the direct feedback I get from my clients and my model when they see the image appearing on the monitor. And on location it's just awesome. You don't have to look at the back of your camera to that little Polaroid to see if you nailed your exposure or your focus. So you have your laptop or your iPad and iPhone, you see the images, you can zoom in, and of course your client can look while you're continuing shooting. Now, how do you connect your camera to your computer? You can use Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi often is very prone to disturbances. Like I've been on many stages where there's so much Wi-Fi interference that your Wi-Fi connection just won't work at all. So I'm always using tethering cables. In my case, I use the Tether Tools cables, the orange ones, because you can see them lying around and you don't trip over them. But how do you make your connection to the software? Well, if you have a Canon or Nikon, it's often supported by, for example, Aperture, Lightroom or Capture One. If you're like me shooting Sony, in Lightroom you can actually get a plugin from a company called DSLR software, DNA software, which will actually support the A7R and the Alpha 99. But Lightroom sometimes just loses the connection, and you can't say why, it just stops. So I was looking for a way that is more solid. Every single camera manufacturer has a little piece of software that supports tethering for their camera. In my case, it's the camera remote control, a remote camera control from Sony. In this software you can actually set everything for your camera, but you can also set a so-called hot folder, save in. Now you see in the background, you see Capture One. And Capture One is my main software for tethering. And why? Well, in Lightroom you have to set up a hot folder, it has to be empty. When the image comes in, Lightroom copies it to another folder and then shows it. But somehow it feels a little bit, how do you call it, sluggish. It's slow. Sometimes when you shoot 10 frames, they will show up 8 frames and then the last 2. It's just not very quick. In Capture One there's no hot folder. There is a hot folder that you have to enable, by the way. It's up here, hot folder enabled. But furthermore, it works very simple. You go to your capture folder, and this is also where the software from my Sony actually points towards. You grab your camera. So let's grab the camera. I'm just pointing in my studio, so there's nothing interesting to see at the moment. I take the picture. Now this is a 36 megapixel file, and you see it popping in immediately, and it's sharp. So this goes really fast. And the nice thing is, it shows the active capture first, meaning if I now take more pictures, so let's take a few shots more. You can see that the pictures come in and they show the newest pictures that's coming in as an active picture. Now this is very nice because now I have all the controls in Capture One, and I can actually also edit my images while my client is here and say, well, you know, the next image that comes in will have your look. For example, we make it black and white, and you can tell Capture One that the next capture that comes in will be black and white. In a later episode I will show you a little bit more about this. So why Capture One and not Lightroom? Well, for me it's very simple. The hot folder works very fast, but there's something else, and I really want to show you this because this will change the way that you shoot tethered. Let's go to a set we recently did with Marvin and Sharda. And these are dancers, and with dancers I really want to see if my focus is okay, right? You can of course use the loop and then zoom in. Pretty sharp. Yep, that's okay. But when I'm from a distance, well, I can't see it that well, right? And I want to shoot fast, and I want to know that my focus is okay. So Capture One is something really cool, and it's called Show Focus Mask. Now everything that's green is in focus. This is cool, right? And this is something I didn't see yet in other software that supports tethering. So as soon as I take a picture, I will see this big green blob over everything that's in focus. That makes shooting with a manual focusing camera very fast, because now from a distance you can see, okay, got it, next shot. And there's more. If you are using an iPhone or iPad, you can actually tell Capture One to start something called Capture Pilot. Now Capture Pilot is very nice because with Capture Pilot you can give your client an iPhone or iPad, make connection to Capture One, and all the images you shoot will appear on their iPhone or iPad. And you can even do it worldwide. You can set up a host and people can connect to it from the other side of the world. So the tip for Capture One is the focus overlay mask, of course, but most of all the tip for you guys, if you don't want to shoot with Capture One, is that you can actually better use the software that's delivered with your camera. So in my case, remote camera control, you point it towards a hot folder, if your software supports hot foldering, and at that case you will see all the images coming in, and now you have a rock solid connection, because this connection, I kid you not, has never ever lose this connection, unless of course you step on the cable and you disconnect the cable. In Lightroom I often have disconnected tethering sessions, and that's very unpleasant during a session where a client is with you. So use the software from your camera, like DPP from Canon or your Nikon software or your Sony software, shoot it to a hot folder and work from there.